All right, folks, back on the Bossman show, friend of the show, Fullerton Titans head coach, my buddy and my brother, Dedrique Taylor, here on the show with me. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I can't complain. I'm super excited on this morning to be another, to have an opportunity to speak with you and to exchange with you in regards to what we about to talk about.
Yes, no doubt. And folks, today we'll talk about Dedrique's project, Develop You. And look on his Instagram, follow him, Dedrique Taylor, underscore between his name. Follow him. You'll learn about lots of talking points for coaches, leadership, life lessons, and how he can use coaching to impact you and your life going forward. Dedrique, tell us about that, man. Where did you get the idea to start this at, man? And on your coaches show you have, man, talk to us about all your great stuff and your knowledge you have from being a coach as long as you have, man.
Yeah, it happened organically because I'm not one to literally want to get involved in social media and I didn't want to do any of that. I just kind of wanted to grow this thing and grow it organically and have some direction as to what we were trying to accomplish and what we were about. And it has organically happened and it's continued to grow. And now it's at a point where I feel like it's not important, but it's imperative that we share what it is that we believe, how we believe, and not to say that it's perfect, not to say that it's the end all be all, but it is a perspective, it is a belief that we have, and it's built around getting better. It's built around tangibly putting things in front of you to say, how am I going to get better at this? How am I going to get better at that? Whatever it is, for us student athletes, trying to get better at being a better person, trying to get better at being a better student, trying to get better at being a better standpoint. And so we tangibly talk about those things of how we're going to approach and go about those things. And it is, again, organically grown into what we are doing on social media. And really what we're doing is just exposing some of the beliefs and some of the experiences and some of the perspectives that we have at Cal State Fullerton that we've gained through our time here. It's been 8 years. And there's some information I think that the world needs to know and have access to, and that's what we're doing. And it's all centered around getting better. It's all centered around the mantra of #DevelopYou. We're trying to figure out how can we tangibly be better today than we were yesterday, and how can we be better tomorrow than we were today. And that is literally it in a nutshell. I think there's a bunch of different, not a bunch, but there's probably 4 or 5 different buckets that we subscribe to try to attract the attention of those people in that arena. For instance, the Think Tank webinar, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later, but it's an opportunity to grow and develop, and it's non-basketball related. It is all about the sport or the business side of athletics, trying to figure out how can people maneuver and grow and get better and improve. We have obviously the camps. We have the coaches show, and so there are different avenues that we've created or taken advantage of to try to promote our message and our perspective. And again, I don't want it to appear as though I think that what we say and what we do is the end all be all. It's not perfect, but it's us. And the most important thing that I'm attracted to is that it's real. When you see us practice, what you see on social media, you will see us practice those things. And again, you will see us practice. I didn't say perfect. I said practice.
Yes.
We'll try to do those things. And so I want people to understand the realness behind what it is that we're trying to do, the genuineness behind it. And it's not all hunky-dory. It's not all glitz and glamour. There are some dark days and some dark times that we've experienced. And I want people to understand that there is growth in those moments. And probably the greatest amount of growth takes place in those moments.
Oh, yes. And you know what? I got these down here. I love your principles. Learn and grow. And I can give you my example for me doing this show for 10 years. Yeah. When you talked to me 10 years ago, you would be like, JR's a horrible host. He's just raw. And the hood JR was on the radio. I'm still a little bit hood now, but it was truly the hood.
A lot of bit, by the way. A lot of bit.
Yeah, yes. It was the west side of Atlanta coming out of me on the radio. I have reformed myself and learned and grown as a radio host. I learned I can't have a co-host anymore. I learned that having a panel was not good for me. I needed to be about what I wanted to be about, having to delegate questions that I didn't really like, or have you ask something I want to ask myself. So learning and growing for me in the radio world has been trial and error. And when you put the principle of learning and growing on the basketball court as a young man, off the court, learning how to deal with women, and how to deal with your professors, learning how to handle something in a bank. I mean, learning and growing is a part of our everyday life till we take our last breath. It's learning and growing.
No doubt. No doubt. I think, and just to take your example, I mean, like the world and the society tells us that failures are bad. Failures are not bad. They're an opportunity for us to learn and grow. And if you don't fail, then you probably are not trying. You're playing it safe. You're trying to guard against failures when you should actually accept failures. I'm not saying you should go towards a situation and fail on purpose, but I am saying that when you do fail by trying to attempt a goal or reach your goal, understand why you failed, embrace why you failed, learn why you failed, and grow from it. I think if you look at some of the greatest people, not the greatest people, but if you look at some of the billionaires and millionaires, how many times in their story have they failed, and they failed forward? They haven't failed backwards. They've failed forward, and they've taken that failure and they've launched themselves into another arena, another atmosphere because of said failure. They become maybe a better whatever it is because of that. And so that's what I am attracted to. And I'm also attracted to the fact that your radio show, like when you hit me and you say, do you want to do it? Stop asking me that. I will do it 10 out of 10 times. And I love the fact that you don't do it with anybody. You've learned that having a panel or co-host it's not for you. It's not for JR. And the energy that JR promotes and the energy that JR has on his show, to me, it's engaging. It's really contagious. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that 10 years ago you had co-hosts and you went through all of this, and now all of a sudden I get this JR. This the dude I like.
Oh yeah, I can remember tell you something, Dedrique. On April the 2nd, 14, I got fired, bro. They didn't even tell me I was fired, bro. I come in and host the show, right? I got a box on my cubicle, bro.
Yeah.
Then I got fired in December of 15 from somewhere. I was upset about it, but guess what? Made me better.
No doubt.
I've learned. Look, it wasn't for me because I was trying to do it another way. I learned that the Dan Patrick panel or having a co-host and bossing whoever, it wasn't working because ultimately I'm doing all the work. You getting credit for what I'm doing, right? And I got, nah, you eating off what I done built? Oh no. Yeah. So partially that hurt me too. And and I ain't selfish dude. I just know that, hey, I'm a certain way. I contain my hood. Sometimes it come out. If you don't understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from, that dialect, you get lost in the sauce. So I had to learn and grow from that, and now I found what works for me. And the show has grown ever since then, that point. Once I decided, hey, it's about me and my guests, not about me and a panel and me and having poll questions, all that lame crap. You don't hear me quoting that's nobody. We having a conversation. There are shows for that. Those are papers for that. This show is about conversations, long form, about life, ball, and whatever.
No doubt. And again, I want to preface it by saying this, like one of the things that we've learned and one of the things that we promote is self-awareness. The number one predictor for success is self-awareness. And so you being able to know all of those things and grow to know that this is the way that I rock. This is the way that I want to represent myself. You know that. And so you embrace that. And now all of a sudden your show is, it's taken off. And again, I would say this, like the number one, again, if you look at all these people that are so-called successful, the number one predictor for their success is I guarantee you, when you talk to them, they're aware of who they are, why they're that way, and then they use it to their advantage. And to me, that is a powerful, powerful concept.
And you know what, Dedrique, something else you point you at was preparing for success. And I mapped this show out 2009 at Tennessee State. I was still there. I mapped out my plan because I knew my future wasn't going to be probably professional, right? I knew that. So let me prepare for success. 1.34 GPA. I got a master's degree though. I came
Don't
from
say that
that,
too loud.
Dedrique.
Don't say that too loud, because a couple of my guys, they would applaud that, and I'm
Oh,
not saying that they would applaud that with this. They will applaud that with their effort. They think it's good.
yeah. Hey, don't X that part out. But yeah, I overcame those things. I
Yeah,
had this idea in my mind that hey, I want to be around sports the rest of my life. It may
sure,
not be playing, but guess what? I can talk about it.
no doubt.
Still impact sports through voice, mind and memory, platform. So I knew that. And so in my classes, I'm preparing for success. Dedrique, I had professors tell me I was running up the wrong path.
Yeah,
Look at them now, like, now what?
yep,
I had a professor tell me that I should just go cut hair, that you should go be a barber. They'll guarantee you some money. This radio idea you have, that that's not black guys in your position that don't play ball like that. Well,
yeah,
I broke through that crack, obviously. So I was preparing for success. You have to negate the haters, negate the naysayers, and I'm gonna be honest with Dedrique, that doesn't motivate Jr. I don't care what people think. I care about what I think. What works for me. So I don't let the outside noise affect what I do inside. And
no
so
doubt.
I know my style ain't for everybody. I come off sometimes too abrasive, or they say he's a little too hood, he a little too raw, or this is the good. I love this code word. Your style does not match with our demographic. I know what they say. I'm too black.
Right,
Say that.
right,
So
right.
but I'm gonna be that way. I can't sell out or conform to somebody like nobody. I'm Jr. And I'm gonna be that way till the day I take my last breath.
No doubt, no doubt. And again, I will point to this ideology that we have and that we believe in is self-awareness. You're fine with who you are. You know you're not for everybody. You've accepted that. All you're in search of is your people. And when I say your people, people that subscribe to the way that you do business, people that subscribe to the way that you talk, people subscribe to the way that you do things that's important to you. And then the other faction of people that don't, you don't wish them any ill will. You just know that we can't do anything together.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple, in my opinion. My opinion.
Very simple. And it's back to one of your points. Building connections as you laid out there. Connections, communications, everything. And so as a coach, that's like 101 how to get a guy to buy into your program, buy into you and your staff is that communication, and also communicating positively as well. That's very key. If you tear me down every day, I'm liable not to run that extra wind sprint for you. I'm liable not to dive for that loose ball for you. I'm not
No
going to
doubt.
play hurt for you if you come at me every day with the negative. So now some guys are good at being negative and getting guys to respond, but I think if you do it positively and they know you really care about you, they'll play harder for you, and you help reach them when it comes to off the court issues as well.
No doubt. I mean, it's an age old adage that says no one cares about what you know until they know that you care for them. And that is way old, is well beyond my years, but it is probably one of the truest statements nowadays in our culture, in our society. Nobody cares what you know. They don't. They want to know two things. What's in it for them? And they want to know, do you care about them? If you can answer, if you can prove to them those two things, I think you can get whatever it is you want. A guy to play hurt, a guy to do something that he doesn't necessarily want to do, but he believes in you and he believes in your vision for him. He or she will accomplish that goal. And again, that's, to me, that's an ideology that I try to prescribe or subscribe to.
And another one I love is growth outside of your comfort zone. And
Yeah,
for me personally, that was being somebody else's co-host, not
sure.
my own. Being somebody else's co-host, that was hard for me. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole time I'm building this sucker is. This sucker's terrible. I'm like this joker. I'm booking all the guests. This joker's on here talking like he knows. He don't know jack nothing.
Yeah.
So and it caused tension because
Yeah.
he knew I was better than he was. He knew who was doing
Yeah.
all the work. He's
Sure.
getting the shine for it. and I
Yeah.
pulled out of that situation. I did it, but when I wanted to get my name out there, I had to bite those bullets. So growth outside the comfort zone. Because I know some side in your business, you might take a job to be assistant coach, or maybe what would be called a bad job to get a head coaching job, because you have to grow and learn and show your worth. And I feel like those 1.5 hours there at that coach on the other show, it showed that I could be a team player, even though I knew I was better than the guy was, but I wasn't a butthole about it. I just did my role, but in my head, man, this dude is trash. You know, you know, it's his show, but he's trash. I'm making his show better, so you know, I get it. So I'm gonna talk about how to teach your players about, as a young man, being the age they are, growing outside their comfort zone.
You know, I think it's one of the hardest concepts that it is to accept. You know, it's not that hard to teach, but it is hard to accept in terms of these guys. They're built, all they see is the glitz and the glamour, right? They turn on ESPN, or they turn on their Instagram feed, and they see this guy making this highlight play, and they see this guy doing that, and this guy getting notoriety for that. You know, they never, ever, in my opinion, you never see the lowlights. You never see the grind. You never see them working to perfect that move. And so trying to get people outside of their comfort zone, and particularly my guys, to get them to understand that your greatest growth, in my opinion, is outside of your comfort zone. Trying to get them to understand is not always easy. And it's probably one of the greatest battles that we have, but it's a daily fight. You know, they know that I am obsessed with their best.
Oh, yes.
And I want to focus on that word obsessed. Like, you say that, and it has a meaning in the dictionary, but it has a different meaning to me in terms of obsessed. That means I will do anything to participate in your success. Here's what you said you want. Well, here's what the actions dictate that you do. And it's called this word, I've been on this thing, alignment. Yes. You can't say one thing, but your actions are doing this, but you expect this over here. And so our guys are like that. They expect the highlights all the time. And I'm telling them, hey, man, you got to put in the work. You got to grow. You got to get outside your comfort zone. When you think you ran 11:22s from a conditioning standpoint, I guarantee you there's 12. I guarantee you can push yourself outside of your comfort zone to 13. When you squat 600 pounds, I guarantee you, if you continue to work and get outside your comfort zone and push yourself, you'll find a way to get to 615, 630. And so just trying to understand that growth, and trying to understand that push, and trying to understand what it does for them and how much they can grow and develop physically, but more importantly, mentally. That's what's important, because those are the same things that we have in life to help us be successful. When the ball stops bouncing or whatever, we're no longer in part of the sports world. You know, we still have the rest of their life, or they still have the rest of their life to live. What are you going to do? How are you going to participate in that? There are going to be days when you don't feel like getting up, when you don't feel like doing X, Y, and Z, but you know, hey, the little girl or the little boy in the other room, they're dependent on you to get your behind up and go get outside your comfort zone and go work. And so those are the things that we're just trying to expose them to and teach them and help them understand how significant that growth pattern is when you are outside of your comfort zone.
And, you know, Dedrique, for me, man, you know, having those late night graveyard shift shows, man, my first gigs was at 11 p.m., noon. I'm not noon, midnight, 2 a.m. That when nobody listening to you. But I have to put on but in my mind, though, I had a whole million people listening to me. I had a whole big audience. But having to perfect my craft, having to sleep in the daytime, I'm not even a daytime sleeper.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be talking to you today if I hadn't went outside my comfort zone and did that, because you can't jump in this business just getting a show on the weekends in the daytime. That ain't gonna happen. But I had to do it just to put in those hard yards to learn my craft and learn what don't work for me. And thankfully, it was late at night, because I was able to learn late at night without a lot of people listening to me what don't work.
Yeah. No, and what you just described, in my opinion, is a vision for your own success. These are the things that are necessary to accomplish that vision. Okay, this is what I want. This is the vision that I set for myself. Okay, what do I have to do? I have to sleep during the day, which is unusual, which is extremely unique, but I have to sleep during the day, and then I have to go to work. And then after I get off work from 1 to 3 a.m., this is what I have to prepare myself to do. One of a current NBA coach, I won't say his name, but a current NBA coach right now, for him, in terms of him preparing for his scouts, and it sounds funny, but the way that he would prepare for his scouts is when no one else was around, he'd get in front of the mirror and he'd talk to himself hours upon hours upon hours, so that when he got in front of the guys, they could feel the level of preparedness that he had. And it wasn't so much the material as much as it was the buy-in. He needed to prove to those guys that he understood, he knew what he was talking about, but more importantly, he cared about their success and he wanted them to be successful, and he gave him that information. But if he was hobnobbing, or not hobnobbing, that's a bad word. If he was, wasn't sure on this action or wasn't sure what we're doing on this ball screen coverage, those guys would have picked up on that and they would never have bought into that. And so vision for your success is to me is extremely important, and it changes. It definitely changes, but within the change, again, I go back to the same term, you grow.
And having resolve too, because how many
You
dudes gonna be willing to get up that? I did my whole life upside down, Dedrique. I was sleeping in the daytime. No, going to the games, right? Then leaving the arena, going to the radio.
mm-hmm.
So like that. But I put in that work though, and then I can control when I talk to anybody I want to control. I control all my content. I own everything. Nobody can tell JR what he can't discuss. Nobody can tell me that. Nobody can tell me what I can't discuss. Nobody owns this but me. And so knowing that nobody put me on either, Dedrique. Nobody put JR on. He put himself on. Nobody can say I gave him his break. Nobody can say that about me.
Yeah.
And that's partly why the way I am, because I'll be like, I'm gonna do my non Kwame Brown. Negro, you didn't put me on.
Right.
And insert some words.
Right. Yeah. No, their feud, I think is channeled a lot of discussion, or started a lot of discussion in regards to what they were actually saying and how it pertains to not them per se, but to you and to your life. And I can hear different people, different young people debate the subject of being put on and some of the other things that they discussed during their banter. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna tell you this, Dedrique. When I see guys on ESPN, Fox Sports South, the woo, I'm like, well, I know it is. Some of y'all kiss some butt to get your positions, and some of you just because you played some ball or some whatever got your positions. And that's my thing. See, I don't crave that life though. People say, I don't. I like doing my own thing because I live good knowing that I can talk to you today, not having no GM tell me, DJ Taylor, he's in California. Why does he do it Georgia? Why is he on the show today? I don't want that. I don't want to answer some manager after my show. Why did you discuss this topic? Why didn't you just go off our script?
Sure.
That's the part that I enjoy, my independence. People don't understand that, Dedrique. I don't want to be controlled by a corporate entity that gives me big money to control me.
Yeah.
When you sign them contracts, they tell you what to say.
No doubt.
They control your content. You don't own nothing.
Yep. That's exactly right. Exactly right. No, it's interesting that way in terms of how you build your career and what you do to advance your career.
Exactly. And talk to this Dedrique about your webinar, man, because I feel like the business side of radio and coaching is something people need to understand. It's not just roll out the basketballs and there you go. And it's also not just come on the microphone and talk to you. It's a lot that goes behind this segment you're seeing with me and Dedrique here. He on his side as a coach and me as a radio host. So go and break it down with your webinar, what it all means, man, the business side of this business that you love so much, man.
Yeah, the Think Tank webinar is an opportunity that we're going to do August 6th. We'll start 10 a.m. West Coast time, which is the best coast, just in case you were wondering. But we'll start 10 a.m. West Coast time. And basically we're going to have speakers to talk about how to maneuver yourself and how to become better and how to go about these opportunities that are available. For instance, I had to hire 3 guys on my staff. And I would guarantee you there's probably 100 people out there that had no idea how to go about getting themselves involved, minus, obviously the application process and so on and so forth. But how do you bubble up to my attention? And those are some of the things that we're going to discuss. We're also going to discuss, how to take care of your finances and give you some different ideas of what that looks like and how to build your finances. We'll also talk about, we have a performance coach, Jason Wells. He'll jump on and he'll talk about the importance of the mindset, and unclogging and providing yourself with a level of clarity for you to be able to go out and accomplish whatever your goal is. And so those are all the business side of things, like understanding the behind the scenes of the production, whatever it is. It could be a radio show, it could be ESPN, it could be a game that we're about to play. It could be anything that you have to apply yourself to, and some of the things that you believe in. Just knowing how to do those things is what the think tank is all about. It's all also about networking opportunity, to get to know people, to get to know search firms. We'll have them come on and talk about that because they're a huge player in our industry,
Mm-hmm.
huge. And so it's important to understand how they operate and what they're thinking about and what they are looking for, and how they go about conducting a search. And so, just trying to provide some people with some details, man, just a different level of understanding. And I feel like if I want people to know, then I have to take it upon myself to help them understand, to help them learn those things. And that's basically what the think tank is, the webinar is all about.
Man, excuse me, man. How having your own show, man? How's that been for you? For us the prep wise for your show, I want to know, kind of learning about your process there. Like, how's it been for you trying to do your own show, man? Having your own brand and your own podcast now.
I wish that I could take credit for all of the things that you are seeing, but it's actually easy because it's me. It is me. Now, what's important is the co-host of the podcast or the show that we have. He's like you. He's JR. But him taking his own profession and educating himself and marketing himself and branding himself in such a way that when you see what you see, you understand there's a lot of preparation that goes into. You got to read all this information. And the reason why I chose this guy, his name is Brandon Marcus. The reason why I chose him is because he's very familiar with our conference. He's very familiar with me. We've worked together for 4 or 5 years, and we don't work together anymore outside of the show, but he was our radio guy when I got the job. And so, there's a company, Social Light, that we use to help us with the branding and to help us with the messaging. And so it's not just me. It's more important that our team around me, they understand who I am and what I'm about. And so it's, again, I go back to it's actually easy. As crazy as that sounds, it's actually easy because, again, it's me. The hard part is orchestrating or integrating other people
Yes.
in your own, in your own belief system or your own branding. They have their own objectives or their own perspective. And so integrating that and understanding how they can go together to present the finished product is where it becomes hard or it gets difficult. But I actually enjoy my show. I enjoy having a conversation with the co-host because within that conversation, I feel like there's information that is garnered. There's information that we give out, whether it be about our program, whether it be about social stuff, whether it be about growth, leadership is something huge to me. And so literally those things, having the individual meetings with the people of Social Light so that they understand me, that they are representing me and growing what I believe in, my perspective. And I think they've done an unbelievable job. But most importantly, obviously within this branding opportunity, I have someone that is, overseeing it and looking at it and saying, hey, you might want to look at this or you want to do this. His name is Brad Williams. And I've known Brad since literally before I was born. So Brad and Brad's parents and my parents, they belong to the same church. They grew up in the same church that Brad and I grew up in. And so he's a little bit older than I am, a lot older, I should say. No, I'm just playing, but he's older than me. But again, just his intent for my life, professionally and personally, I can feel it, I understand it, and I can appreciate it. And so what you see publicly, it's really about the people behind me and what they do and what they believe in.
Yeah, and I think you're good at radio, man. I said, man, we you talk about whatever. I mean, so that's half the battle right there. But to talk about whatever, being knowledgeable
No,
on multiple topics, that's half the battle. Yeah,
no doubt.
because see, like you
Yeah,
know, I don't have a set list here. I don't have a question sheet. I just talk to you. 'Cause
yeah, yeah,
that's what I love about my shows because I don't have to. I have general knowledge of what's going on, but I don't have to have like a
yeah,
robotic question
yeah,
list that like I'll tell you, some corporate radio shows they have a robotic question list
yeah.
or a set
They
sheet,
do.
and it's
They do.
scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they don't get like, you can take these questions or something that you hear in our conversation, and you can dive into that, and you can really focus on that. Whereas if you're representing a corporation or you're sponsored by a corporation, you have to think, okay, does that represent the corporation? Or, it's just so much more involved in than you just kind of freelancing it, so to speak. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that in such a way that we just literally are having a conversation, and
Mhm.
we can talk a little bit about this or that and that and this, and it's knowledgeable information that the listeners can take, and they can have a conversation. They can have a barbershop conversation, or they can conversate over dinner about something that they heard on your show. And again, I think it's really important. And I'm not saying that only happens because of the way that you do business, but again, I go back to the faction of people that believe in JR, that buy into what JR is talking about and how he does business. Those are the people that I'm referring to.
And did you? What I says, I want to leave a breadcrumb for you. Some that wet your appetite to go look it up some more after the show. I'll give you a little
Yeah,
bit of breadcrumb, some knowledge here. You can go look at it on your own. A little breadcrumb
right.
about leadership, growth and development. Okay, go and read about it because I want to educate, empower, and electrify people. That's been always my
Yeah,
mission to empower,
right.
educate, and electrify. I want to give you my personality, which is hood but fun, educate you and give you some empowerment as well to go do what you want. Because I grew up not having nothing, right? Look where
True.
I am at today. I
Yeah,
could have given up a long time ago, and I don't subscribe to that whole puppy bootstrap crap. I know if I
right.
wasn't good at a certain sport, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm not that
No
crazy.
doubt. No doubt. No
So
doubt.
certain things happen to help get me where I am today. I ain't that crazy. So to all my young men out there, I'm in my 30s and I accomplished a lot. You can do the same thing too. I grew up in not great not great beginnings, and look where I am
Yeah,
today. So I feel like
yeah,
Dedrique is all about showing people an example of success and that show that I'm still with you. I'll never forgot who I was, where I came from. I still
yeah.
represent that to the day I die. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Being the bankhead bounce video, being around the Freaknik, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do those
What's up?
things.
What's up? I was in the video as a young dude. I was in the video.
Yeah, yeah, but that shaped you. That helped build who we see today and what we see today. And you said something earlier in terms of empowering and giving people an opportunity, a kind of a starter, to have conversation further. Go look this up, go look that up, because you heard a little bit about it on JR show. And so you are an inspiration in a lot of ways for people that have come up just like you, worse than you, better than you. It doesn't matter where you are, it's where you finish, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go back to this point, and it's a powerful, to me, it's a powerful statement, but it really typifies what we both are about, in my opinion. Is that it says, I'm not here to change you. I'm only here to provide the space that allows change to happen.
Yes.
So what you talk about, who you are, what you are, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're blood or crip, that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you are bought into being what you say. And that's what matters to me, is that you live your life according to trying to do those things, trying to accomplish. I'm not saying you're going to do those things, because nothing's perfect, but understanding that change only happens when you allow the space for it to happen. And so I want to literally, with the think tank webinar, with the think tank itself, with our basketball program, with our elite camps, that statement, I'm not here to change you. I'm only here to allow or create the space for change to happen. You hopefully can see that in every aspect of us or me, because that's what I'm about.
Exactly. You know, Dedrique, I don't think many guys can say this, but I can say this. I interviewed virtually mostly like over half of D1 coaches. I've interviewed them one time on my show. D2 HBCU coach, I've interviewed a lot of them on my show. So I don't know how many guys in the business who've interviewed over 200 some coaches on that show in the last 5 years the way I have and do it every week. You know, I give every guys a platform because I know guys don't want to talk to you unless something bad happens,
Right.
unless something is scandal or you winning a tournament. You
Yeah.
know, I make it a point to talk to guys who are in the Power Five conferences on purpose. People like, you don't get very many Power Five guys because I don't want them.
Right.
They
Yeah.
get enough puff from ESPN and all them people.
Yeah.
Unless now, if I know you, like Mike Woodson, I'll do that, of course. Or a new hire as black, I'll do that. Or a new hire,
Sure.
period, I'll do it to build a relationship. But I want to make sure that the guys in the mid-major conference get some love too.
Sure.
That's why
Yeah.
I made my show about it's all about design, people, not because I can't get them. I
No
can
doubt.
get them if I wanted them.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
matter of having a bigger mission here to help and serve others. Because it's all about helping and serving others, give people opportunity that wants to get empowered, give them using my platform that I have to give you talk about your program and your think tank webinar, your develop you. That's all about serving and providing and being a servant to people, not about me. It's not even about me. It's about helping my friend here in his business, his new endeavor, his program. It's not about anything else but that.
Yeah. And to me, that comes through and through. That comes through like when I see on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you're interviewing this coach, and like I know where it's coming from. So it makes me feel compelled to listen, because I know you're probably not going to talk X's and O's. You're going to talk about who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in. And that is attractive to me. You know, Mike Woodson, for as good as he has been in the NBA, I'm super excited for him to stretch out his tentacles at this level and create an opportunity for these young guys to grow and learn and develop and express themselves from a skill standpoint under Mike's tutelage. You know, he's doing it at a completely different level, but he's doing it at somewhere he's familiar with, a place that he went to school with, a place that he played at. So I'm excited to see some of these new hires and what they can get done over the course of the time. And I'm not saying what they can get done in terms of, success as we as society terms it, playing in a tournament. I'm saying what they can get done in terms of who they're graduating, how they're impacting guys. Those guys, do they become productive citizens? And like, to me, that's success.
Most definitely. And Dedrique, also, man, I want to say this to you, brother. Hey, let's get 100 wins is a big accomplishment, man. Like for a black coach like yourself to get to that point is an accomplishment, because a lot of black coaches don't get that many years to do that. So
Yeah.
8 years of consistency, doing your thing out there in the Big West, a hard conference, man. I just want to commend you on it, brother. And we've been having you show the last 5 years. You've been on the show last 5 years, man. I wish I had you on
Yeah.
earlier, but I messed up on that. So I'm saying that's on me, brother. But I'm so happy to see how your team is growing and developed, and how you've overachieved with your team and your guys overachieved for you, and how you compete like crazy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And the 100 wins, like I said on the show before, it's a tangible measure that we use for success, but really behind the scenes, as we talked about what that means, it just means that, 92% of the players that have come here, they've all graduated. It means that we've been able to be a part of 26 guys come here and become pros. It means that the relationships that are built where guys don't know each other, like the Maddox boys on our current team right now. We have a Dante Maddox Jr. and a Trey Maddox Jr. They didn't even know each other existed until they both came to Cal State Fullerton. And so, again, those relationships that they're able to build and able to grow, that's what it's about for me. That's what defining 100 wins means to me. The 100 wins, I mean, that's cool and blah, 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 blah. But, man, that ain't about, I'm not about that in terms of, celebrating the 100 wins. I'm about celebrating some of the other things that lead to 100 wins. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be on this show and for you to recognize myself and our program. So grateful for our administration to allow us to be here 8 years, going on our 9th year, and what that means. There are very few coaches across the country, like you said, they have that opportunity. And so we don't take that lightly, and we're working our butt off to hopefully be here another 8 years.
And Dedrique, you know what I say to listeners all the time? I don't ask you about recruiting because guess what? This is the interview. That's recruiting right there. Recruiting, listen to the man talk. You know, you're hearing this man authentically who he is, not the script or the coach speak. You're hearing this Dedrique Taylor, the real man. So if you're a young man or a parent hearing this interview, you see who the man is. If you want to send your son there, reach out to the man. And there you go.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, we like them all. We take them all. Just know what you do and how you do it, and let's grow and develop it, and let's make some money on it.
No doubt, folks. Check out my man on Instagram, Dedrique Taylor, man. That's my guy. Dedrique Taylor's my guy, guys. I tell you, we talk about life. We ain't talking nothing about no basketball. Like, we talked about life, leadership, and growth and development.
Yep.
How many you can't do that nowhere else? They'll be like, I don't do that. Nah, we talked about life, development. We ain't talking about no plays, X's and O's, drop coverages. We're talking about strong side help, and we weak side rotation. We talk none of that stuff. We don't do that here. That's also do that with the other shows. We talk about life on the Bossman show on your radio, people.
No, I enjoy it, and I appreciate you having me, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
No doubt, folks. Check my man out on Twitter, people, and Instagram, Dedrique Taylor, my guy.
Thank you.